Mutable signs are difficult because it's like popcorn. Think of a bowl of popcorn and hit a pot and pan or two rocks together and go roar and pray. Look for resources. They look for solutions. What do I even want? Who am I? Hi everyone, it's Meredith, your evolutionary astrologer, and I am so excited to bring you this riveting, this amazing video that I put together for you today. We're going to learn all about the mutable signs, and even if you don't have planets in the mutable signs, you have all 4 mutable signs in your chart, and I'm going to talk to you about the superpowers that the mutable signs in your chart bring you and what you can do with them. So this is the story about the chameleon that lives inside of you. This is the place inside of you that can even mutate yourself in order to survive this cold, challenging world that we're living in. And adaptability is required to live. And so this is the essential superpower of the mutable signs. And even, like I said, if you don't have any planets that are mutable in your chart, you do have all 4 mutable signs. And where they show up in your chart is where you will be adaptable, versatile, nimble, flexible, and it's how you will be dealt the cards of freedom and change. And the mutable houses show you where you thrive on change, where you thrive on having choices and options, and where you create options in your world. So this is also the place in your chart, the place in your life where massive change happens to you. If you've got planets in mutable signs, well, this planet is bringing in or attracting great change in your life. Your mutable houses are where, like I said, you're experiencing the changes in life, but they're changes that will require you to be flexible, adaptable, open-minded. But these changes actually come from loss and losing things. It is the evolutionary experience of deeply needing to change things in order to improve things, deeply needing to lose things to gain new things. Get your gorgeous natal chart out. And if you didn't buy one from me, I really recommend that you do. It's a great way to support our work here on the channel. And also it's a great way to support our small business. But our gorgeous natal charts are just that. They are so easy to read and they are truly gorgeous. But get your gorgeous natal chart out. And I want you to look at where you have these mutable signs, because it is where these mutable signs are, and when a transit hits these mutable signs, that it will carry out a very significant meaning in your life. And we're going to learn about it today. I'm going to teach you everything you could ever dream of about these mutable signs and more. So we're talking about Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces in your chart. So I want you to think about the word to mutate or the word mutation when you think about mutable signs. It's pretty powerful. It's a pretty powerful word when you really let it sink into your heart. Think of genetic mutation, cellular mutation, and then think of it in a metaphoric way as well. So how have you completely changed your entire life? How has it mutated? How have you completely changed your mind, your heart, your psyche? How are you living so differently than you once did? How are you loving so different than you once did? How are you thinking so differently than you once did? How has your creativity changed from what it once was? What new discoveries have you made about yourself that you never knew before? How have you metaphorically and symbolically and maybe even biologically mutated? Right? The evolution of your own soul is a form of mutation. So that is the power of the mutable signs in your chart. Mutable signs are so underestimated and it royally upsets me. And yet they are so phenomenal. And I'm going to tell you, I searched and searched and searched. And that's why I love doing these videos for you. I searched for a great video on the mutable signs. And I found such little information out there on the incredible importance of the mode called mutability in astrology. So the mutable sign always comes after the fixed sign. And if you didn't watch my video on fixed signs, please, please go do it. It's one of my best videos on this whole entire channel. And you have all 4 fixed signs in your chart too. Even if you don't have a planet in a fixed sign, you still want to know what the fixed parts of your chart are doing, just like you want to know what the mutable parts of your chart are doing. So the mutable signs come after the fixed signs, and the fixed signs come after the cardinal signs in that order: cardinal, fixed, and mutable. And so, for example, the wheel starts with Aries, which is cardinal, then it moves to Taurus, which is fixed, and then it moves into the mutable sign of Gemini. And so mutable signs represent endings, losses, and the adaptability or the desire to change something. They represent letting go of what was and the ending of a life cycle. And so therefore, Stephen Forrest, my mentor, taught me long ago, mutable signs get very used to a changing environment, and mutable signs learn how to change. And they learn how to change also its own form in the world. And then the cardinal sign takes over and initiates the desired change. So, like I said, the first step is go look in your gorgeous natal chart and see what houses you have Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces in, and these are the mutable signs. Now look to see if you have any planets in those signs, and look to see if you have them on the angles, and I hope you guys watched that video. And by the way, I want to say thank you to everybody who is a super supporter and a superstar super supporter, and my members are going to get to see this video in its entirety, so I really recommend you come and join my membership. It puts 10 cents a day into my pocket. It's very little. It's $2 a month. And I am so grateful. I couldn't build this channel without you. And so you will get to see this whole entire video on Wednesday. And if not, I hopefully have enough content in here that you're learning something new. Mutable signs want to explore. They want to have adventures. They want to explore options. They want to understand better choices, a new fit, a new way. And this is the very ability that they have that creates their superpower. They're able to handle change. They're able to adapt to change. And they are exceptionally good at doing that and initiating something new and different into their life. So all the mutable signs have developed an affinity to love versatility, which will give them in a different way a tremendous amount of resourcefulness. Yes. I will also say that the mutable signs, there's a little bit of an optimism that there isn't a problem that they can't fix by facing it in a new way. They believe in change. So I find that mutable signs look for resources, they look for solutions, and they are unafraid to try new things. So they're refreshing and inspiring that way. And I do think that other people really, especially the fixed signs, really admire this ability in them. You know, they don't get down as much as maybe a fixed sign because they don't believe in there's just one right way to do things. They see things from multiple perspectives, from a top to bottom, to a left to a right. And like I said, there is this refreshing quality with people that can be movable, embracing differences, if you will. And with all 4 signs, there is a longing for movement. There's a restlessness with these people, and you can usually see it in their energy. There is this energetic restlessness that palpitates inside of them. So here are some qualities to remember about mutable signs. These are their virtues. They have an ability to easily adapt to all of life's curveballs, and they can duck and dodge and move very quickly, whether it's a fist fight, a verbal fight, a debate, a spar, a conversation, whether it is a change for outcome or a change around the goal. They're quick on their feet and they move easily in and out of challenges. And they can make the very most out of very, very little. And they don't need much to find new solutions because they've either got it in here or in here. They are nimble and flexible with their words and their thoughts. And I think of great stand-up comedians that have a lot of mutability in their charts. I think they're really mutable. A stand-up comedian kind of is required to be pretty mutable. So I also think these people are just fantastic learners, and they're always intrigued by learning something new and seeing and feeling things in a new way. And if you think about it, Gemini and Virgo are both ruled by Mercury, which is the planet of the mind and communication. And Sagittarius are more like visionaries because they're ruled by Jupiter and Neptune. With a lot of mutability in your chart, you can be a great learner, a great teacher, and a great visionary. And you can easily learn new things. And they want to learn new things. They have a craving around learning new things. So listen to this. Listen to this. This is how I want you to start learning astrology with me, and how I want you to start learning true, deep astrology, real astrology with me. And I hope that you are doing this with me. You have all 12 signs in your chart, and they live in different houses, and the houses are absolutely critical in order for you to understand the complexity of you and your soul's contract in this lifetime. And the only way you can know what sign is in what house is to know your birth time. So you really have to investigate and research what time was I born, and interview the people that would know before they cross over. Right? So if there is no birth certificate, start interviewing people that might know approximately, at least get it down to half of the day, at least get it within 6 hours. So I cannot wait to show this to you. This is so exciting. I want to give you a great example of how astrology is more complex than just your sun sign, and how you can see the hidden or the hard to see mutability in someone's chart where it's not immediately obvious. And so this could be exactly how it plays out in your chart. I had a client last week say to me, oh, but I don't have, any fixed signs, so I didn't watch your fixed signs video. And I'm like, oh my God, yes, you do. You just don't see it. You have to peel the onion. So it's not always immediately obvious. So let's take the great, the amazingly talented, the quick on his feet, fast talking, incredibly genius, Robin Williams. Okay. I don't know anybody who was faster, funnier, wittier comedian than Robin Williams. And I love him and I miss him. So I love looking at his chart. So when you look at his chart, immediately you do not see a lot of mutability. As a matter of fact, you see a lot of cardinal, you see fixed Leo energy, you see cardinal Cancer energy, and what the heck? He's Scorpio rising. That is so fixed. So he has a pretty fixed access, right? So you're wondering, what the hell is Meredith talking about? Like, how does this even work? You said great comedians needed to have mutability. Well, let's go dig in a little bit deeper. Oh my gosh. Now, let's look at the natural mutable houses, okay? So look at this in your own chart. If you've got planets in the 3rd, 6th, 9th, or 12th house, those planets are influenced by the modality called mutability, right? So that's a really big deal. And first we can see that he has 3 planets, including his sun, in the mutable 9th house. Now, why is the 3rd, 6th, 9th, and 12th, right, the mutable houses? Because they are naturally ruled by Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces, respectively. So we can see that he has these 3 planets, including his sun sign, in the mutable 9th house, which is naturally Sagittarius's house. I know that Cancer is there for him, but underneath that, the true foundation of the natural zodiacal wheel gives that house Sagittarius energy, which is one of the 4 mutable signs. Even though he has Cancer here, you have to overlap Sagittarius energy, and now his Cancerian energy becomes quite mutable because it's in the house that is naturally ruled by Sagittarius. This might be a little redundant for some, but I want you to understand how to do this with your fixed houses, your cardinal houses, and your mutable houses in your chart. So we can also see that he has a big giant Venus and his south node in Virgo, which is also another mutable sign. And where you have the south node is the energy that you mastered in a past lifetime, and it will be a gift to you in this lifetime for the first 36 of your years. And it's where you rest your laurels. It's what you did so darn well in your past life that you do it second nature in this next lifetime, which is now. So if you haven't watched my video on the nodes, I really recommend you go watch my videos. You probably have to click on the live tab because I did a lot of my nodes videos on the live tab, but they're is so incredible. And I am an evolutionary astrologer. So I believe, I hang my hat on, and I believe in the nodes. And I believe that the nodes are our past life and our next life, respectively. You can see that he was probably a masterful mutable sign in his past lifetime because it was in Virgo. So he perfected it. And you can see also that he has Neptune in the 12th house, right? Which is Pisces, natural house ruler, the ruler of the 12th house naturally, natally, is Pisces. Even though he brings Libra to the 12th house, it takes on a Pisces layer. And so you have to remember that. And we can see that Chiron is in Sagittarius, and we can also see that his moon and north node is in Pisces. So moon in Pisces, a big deal because it is a primary luminary. It is probably the second most important planet, which is actually a luminary in the chart. And one of the largest mutable chart signatures in his chart is Jupiter in the 6th house, because we know that the natural ruler of the 6th house is Virgo, another mutable sign, and he brings Jupiter, the largest planet. Wherever you have Jupiter is where you are exaggerated. It's where you have, and the 6th house is where you have the gift of communication. By the way, I'm doing an entire Jupiter series on my shorts channel. So if you guys aren't watching my shorts, please do. I'm doing Jupiter through all the houses in the month of December, so I think you'll like that. Please go watch my shorts. I've been putting blood, sweat, and tears into developing and designing them, and it really would mean a lot to me if you liked and subscribed and watched my shorts and my long form videos too. Let's keep going. I have so much to tell you. There is so much juicy fruit in this video, and I'm hardly even scratching the surface yet. You know, we can see that with his Jupiter in the 6th house, he's an extraordinarily witty, fast communicator, and he is a fast thinker. That's the house of mental gymnastics along with the 3rd house. Because astrology is not reading just your sun sign, it is literally a 10-layer cake. And if you really want to learn, go to soulnavigation.com and just click the Learn Astrology tab, and it will take you to my master classes where you can learn how to read the whole entire chart. But look at how much hidden mutable energy Robin Williams has in his chart. And isn't it shocking? Isn't it shocking to see, like, wow, this man is massively mutable, although his Leo doesn't show me that, and his 10th house doesn't show me that, right? And his Cancer doesn't show me that. And certainly Scorpio rising contradicts that. Isn't this exciting? Isn't it fascinating? It is so incredibly cool to understand astrology at a deep advanced level. Now, every mutable sign is a little bit different, but they also have something in common, which I already talked about. The mutable signs represent all 4 different elements. So air, earth, fire, and water. But Gemini, which is an air sign, is focused on details, the particulars, the great multitasker, and it works with a duality. So it's always doing 2 things at once. And so wherever you have Gemini in your chart, or whatever planets you have in the 3rd house, these planets or this house is probably reflective of how you multitask and where in your life you have to multitask. So if you have it in the 10th house, you probably do 2 jobs, or you have a job that you have to multitask in. So Virgo energy is an earth sign, and it is developed to find the efficiency in life through service. Which option is better? Which one works faster? Which one is more worthwhile? That's what Virgo energy does. It discriminates between, as I've said in almost all my videos, what is good and what is truly great. Like, what is a better way to organize this? How can we manage this better? So you have the ability with Virgo to look for new solutions and new options and put those into play to create more efficiency. Sagittarius is adaptable explorer, to go after understanding, to seek or to learn different cultural viewpoints that make up humanity on earth or make up culture, understanding cultural differences between people. We're going to go way deeper into each one of these signs. So stick with this video because I hope I give you brand new things to think about, and I hope I blow your mind just a little bit. Sagittarius enjoys the independence of not being boxed in. None of these signs do, but they then put this into their actual energy moving through the world, where I think it sort of stays trapped inside of the mind in Gemini and Virgo, where Sagittarius now literally is a wild horse that does not want to be broke. They want to explore the freedom of doing things their own way. So Pisces, of course, is a water sign, and it is very adaptable to your feelings and emotions in their surroundings, I should say. So the feelings and the emotions in their surroundings to other people, what are they picking up? They can pick up on the energy. They're very empathic and intuitive, and so they can adapt to an environment, to a person, to a situation emotionally. They're very good. Think about water flowing and adapting around the rocks in a riverbed. So they can really flow. They learn to trust what they're feeling and what they're sensing. And this can be multiple things at one time. So they can understand the dichotomy, the contradictions that live inside of the feelings of other people. They can understand extraordinarily complex feelings. My brother Andy, who is a Pisces, could see and understand my strength and my simultaneous vulnerability all in one conversation in a walk around the block with me. It was really sweet. He really got me in my dynamic and dual feelings and personality, if you will. The mutable signs have this wonderful strength of being able to understand what is going on in the environment and then bending to it. Mutable signs can work well with other people, truthfully, because they actually learned at a very young age how to stand in the shoes of other people, because they cannot get themselves without also getting you mentally, or through service or efficiency, or culturally or emotionally. And all four of these signs really do bring you a superpower where you can learn how to be your authentic self by understanding who you are not and what you are not, by in relationship to others, and through the cause and effect of what change brings to your life, and being able to change, literally being able to mutate, being able to adapt to the versatilities that life brings you. And I'll tell you that you might struggle with doing one thing forever because you really do live in the world of options, and you can feel quite suffocated and stifled without choice. And so choice is a very big deal to wherever you have dedication, wherever you have fixed signs, and you want choice and freedom wherever you have mutable signs. And you don't necessarily want to make commitments. Now, what's really interesting is if you have your mutable, your mutable planets in fixed houses. Whoa. Now you're both loyal, and so you got to think about that. I mean, that's really incredible, right? Like your mutable planets and signs in naturally fixed houses. So if you have Pisces in the 5th house, right, you're probably extraordinarily loyal, but you want your freedom too. So I want you to think about the complexities of how to really read your chart. So I'm going to go into the specific virtues and the challenges of each sign, but I want to talk in general of what can go wrong with mutable signs when they are underdeveloped and unhealthy. And I want you to be honest with yourself. Do you lean to the healthy side of mutable signs, or do you lean to the underdeveloped or even the unhealthy? Because it can go really bad when it goes wrong if you're unhealthy. So I want you to also remember this. Mutable signs are in opposition and square to one another. So this creates tension between these signs. So if you have a lot of Virgo and Sagittarius, or Virgo and Pisces, or Sagittarius and Gemini, or Virgo and Gemini in your chart, none of it goes well together. They create tension, and they create mutable tension. So there's often a conflict around, what do I even want? Who am I? What choice is better for me? Do I want to go to college, or do I want to open up my own business? Do I want to do this as a career, or this as a career? Do I want to marry this person or this person? So there is tension around maybe having too many options or too many choices, so much so where you don't even know what your own preferences are. So if you do have a lot of mutable planets, those planets don't necessarily really understand the other mutable planets. So the modalities never really get along with each other. So cardinal signs don't really get along with cardinal signs, and fixed signs don't really do well with other fixed signs. And the same with mutable. And think about the people in your life. Are you dealing with, like, I am a mutable soul. I was raised by a cardinal mother, right? And I have a cardinal child who's raised by a mutable mother. And so I want you to think about your family tree. Was your dad fixed and your mom cardinal and you're mutable? Well, you had to learn how to adapt to both of all of that. Is that a word? Is that a sentence? So let's talk about this. Let's go deep. When you have a lot of mutable energy in your chart, so let's say you have, I don't know, a planet in each of the mutable signs, or you have a mutable rising, descendant, IC and MC, if they're on the angles, well, then I would say you would have an exaggeration of this modality in your chart. And if you buy one of my gorgeous natal charts, I tell you exactly what proportion of your chart is fixed, cardinal, and mutable. So you can see, oh, wow, I have 70% of my chart in mutability. Holy bleep, bleep, bleep. Yeah, right? Like it's a lot. And so it is very difficult to harness mutable energy because it's like popcorn. Think of a bowl of popcorn in the pot or in the microwave. And I want you to try to, be a little tiny thing trying to catch all that energy. It's like the bingo machine, all the air balls, right? Flying out. So it's very hard. It's not fixed. It's not sitting still. You cannot capture it. So it is very difficult when you have an exaggerated amount of mutable energy in your chart. It is very difficult to harness it and make it healthy. You can do it, but thank God you're learning astrology because this will help you so much. And the first thing you need to realize that if this is you, and if you do feel really lost inside of all of the options in life, and you feel paralyzed by not knowing which decision to make, you're doing your life exactly as you should, especially if you're 36 years old or younger. Let yourself discover, let yourself explore, right? If you're 65 and you still don't know who you are, well, yes, now we really need to advance. We got to really work harder on ourselves so we can figure it out. So I would say the very biggest thing that happens is that they lose when they're unhealthy or when the mutability is exaggerated and they can't harness it. They lose their sense of self. They lose their sense of purpose because they run in circles going absolutely nowhere. They feel stuck and lost and they never truly find their gift, but they dibble dabble through life. They putz around. They do a little of this and a little of that until they feel like they actually have done nothing at all. And it is so sad. And so they can become so adaptable to their environment that they chameleon their way through their life, becoming hollow, vacant, and empty because they haven't found their center. They haven't found their center, or their center is always changing based on the audience that they're talking to. So they can be late bloomers or develop very slowly because they learned how to be accommodating and adaptable to everybody's wants, wishes, and needs except their own. And so their own personal growth was delayed. It's sad. And their own belief system was always changed based on the group they were hanging out with. So they are constantly changing their minds, changing their values, changing their beliefs, changing their desires based on what they believe they need to believe in order to survive their group, their community, their family, their friend, or whomever they're hanging out with, or whomever is influencing them at this time. Their group could just be their family. But you will see very lost souls in unhealthy, mutable signs. And if you were a lost soul or you were an undiscovered soul and you are mutable and you are young, that's exactly where you should be. So let me give you a little side story. When I was a young girl, I was in high school, and a lot of my friends were very driven and they were very good at certain things. My best friend wanted to be a doctor. She was very clear about it. She was a straight A student. My other friend was an exceptional volleyball player. She was extraordinarily good at it. She got a scholarship for volleyball. My other friend actually went on to play the Phantom in Phantom of the Opera on Broadway. What the hell? Like, everybody had something, right? My other guy friend true friend, was a phenomenal football player, and he also got a scholarship to a college. I didn't even know what college I wanted to go to, let alone what did I want to study. I knew I wanted to probably act, and I knew I would be a good actress. I was in drama, and but I didn't know how to do it, or film or Broadway. I couldn't sing, so I thought maybe film, but I was too exaggerated for film. What I'm saying is I had no idea who I was, and I would just beg my mom to tell me, Mama, what are my gifts? What am I good at? And she said, Mary, you are so good at so many things. You're going to work with people. I didn't know what that meant. What the hell did that mean? What? It felt like such a cop-out. Like, how with people? What with people? What am I going to do? Who am I? What am I? I was so depressed. It almost makes me cry right now just sharing it with you. I literally did not know who I was. But my chart is super, super, super mutable. I am an exaggerated mutable sign. Thank God my rising sign is fixed. And thank God my mutable signs live in fixed houses. I'll tell you the truth to that. Because it's very painful knowing that you are a truly good person and that you have talents, but they are buried within yourself because you only see the world through options. You don't see the world in a fixed way, like how you can apply those gifts that live inside of you to one thing. You're like good at this and good at that and good at this and this and this and this and this and this and this until it means absolutely no thing at all. And it is soul crushing. It is heartbreaking. Well, needless to say, along my merry way, I found myself. And you cannot rock my center. You cannot move my center. Yes, I'm empathetic and sympathetic, and I probably do overgive, but I have a core that is so strong, and I think it is because of the fixed part of my chart. Thank God. So I do, if you haven't watched my fixed sign video, please go watch it because it's critical. And I want you to mesh the mutable with the fixed with the cardinal. It's so important to understand your layer cake. Okay, so let me tell you what else is really hard when you have an unhealthy or underdeveloped big mutability chart signature. Mutable signs, when they are unhealthy, they will use their words to... That's the hard part. But now we're going to get on to, let's talk about the mutability of the mutable signs and the mutable houses. So let's first talk about Gemini and the third house. This is the first sign of the mutable signs, and it's air, and it's masculine, and it's yang energy. So if you guys want to learn astrology, go to soulnavigation.com and click on the Learn Astrology button, and you will be taken to my master classes, and I teach you how to read the chart. And you learn about what are the yin signs, what are the yang signs, what do the houses mean, what do the planets mean. And it's very, very in-depth. It's only $19. I mean, it's the best $19 you could spend. It's my master class. So masculine energy produces something. It takes energy and puts it out there in the world. So this is a mental energy that is masculine. And there is a constant change of the mind, change of thoughts, change of ideas. And so they don't have the same thought in the afternoon that they did in the morning even. And they're always trying to obsessively learn and grow. And they like living in a changing environment. They need partners in a lifestyle that encourages them to learn new things. So they want to have new experiences. They want to have new things to think about. Their mind is flooded. If you're a Gemini, tell me if this is true. Leave a comment below, or wherever you have Gemini in your chart. This is where you have constant need for learning and growing, right? And so you have to know what the houses mean to understand where this takes place in your own soul's experience in the world. So your mind is flooded with new thoughts, new ways of being, and you're almost in a constant state of mutation or metamorphosis. And so you are wanting to improve your thoughts. That's why you change your thoughts. So you're saying goodbye to the old guard and you're thinking about the new guard. And Geminis, like all mutable signs, are extraordinarily resourceful by loaning out their mental energy, their new solutions, their new ideas, thinking up new concepts for their life and your life, and looking at life through the relationship. Gemini is a relationship sign. They need friendships. They cannot know themselves without another person. And they are the twins. And so they are looking for somebody to add fresh insight, or they're looking for a new way to create a new product. a new and improved product, I should say. Like if you want, I don't know, the new and improved, laundry detergent, oh, we're not going to kill trees and we're not going to use these big plastic jugs. We're going to do sheets. That was probably a Gemini. So I love what Alan Oken, who I love and adore. He is no longer alive, but I knew him personally and I loved him. And I love his books. And I loved what he said and what he wrote. After he passed away, I bought like every book he ever wrote. He's extraordinarily philosophical, so he's not for everybody. I mean, he goes into like the mythology of each sign back from like 300 AD. He's very deep and pontificating. Anyways, I love that he wrote that about the Gemini human experience. He wrote that Aries has pioneered the land and Taurus has cultivated the land, and Gemini explores neighboring regions, finding new roads and rivers so his community will be able to trade with members of other towns and other settlements. I love the idea of how Gemini is the great networker of the zodiac, and it is adaptable and changeable in order to create connections into communicating and reaching other people. I mean, literally, they are the dream catcher. Are you a Gemini? Are you the networker? Is networking easy for you? Yeah. Do you like to hook up this person with that person? And do you just take so much joy when they actually make a connection? So Geminis are also the great question seeker, and they're always asking and pondering the why. Why, why? My brother Mike was so cute. He asked my mom one day when we were dropping me off to school. We're 7 years apart, so he was really young. He was like 2, and I was like, I don't know, 9 or something, 10, going on 10. And he asked, Mom, do snakes run faster than airplanes can fly? He was 2. It's a cute question, right? That's the Gemini. Like, I'm trying to figure out, like, which one's faster? Which one, how does this work? So they're always asking and pondering and learning. And Geminis are really good at photographic memory. Okay, I got to get through Virgo, Sag, and Pisces. So let's talk about Virgo and if you've got planets in the 6th house. So this is the second mutable sign, but it's Earth, so it works very differently. It's not quite as quick as the Gemini, and it's feminine and it's yin. So it is a lot more thoughtful and receptive and humble. And, Gemini is yang, so it's a little bit more in your face. But Virgo is very practical and it is adaptable in seeking a way in which it can serve the community or a person or the situation. They usually become extraordinarily talented. They are a little bit better at self-mastery than Gemini because it can stick to things because it is Earth and it's not air energy, so it doesn't flit about. But let me tell you, one of the greatest meanings of Virgo, okay, and that is that this is the sign of rewards earned from hard work and through due diligence in one's service to its people or its community or its relationship or its land. Virgo knows how to create a prosperous harvest or a prosperous outcome. And you can see in Virgo's eyes and even their facial expressions that they are in constant pondering thought, how to improve something. They are always judging and evaluating a situation or their surroundings or their connections or their relationships. And how can I serve? How can I help make this better? How can I assist? How can, what's wrong here? How can I literally make things better? They love their relationships and their connections, and there is a humble loyalty inside of Virgo. Virgo is not interested in superficial hop arounds, okay? They want to understand what life expects of them and what life will appreciate about them, and then they want to deliver it. Now, not all Virgos are neat and tidy. And every comment I get where, oh, my Virgo was a total slob, I'm just like, oh my God. Don't live in the stereotype of the perfectly manicured Virgo, because those are the ones that are most stereotyped. But there is the ones that are manicured from head to toe and they're fastidious and all the details and how they look and all of that. But there is another kind of Virgo, which is the sloppy type, and they could care less. I have about 5 of these in my life. They could care less about their clothes or their social graces. They feel that is a superficial waste of energy and time. It's just dumb. It's not smart enough. And so they don't get fixated on how they look or how they present. They're usually also the more frugal type, the more humble type. They usually, but I will say Virgos can also lose their center, as all mutable signs can. And it's when, I'll tell you how this works. And I do see this in the Virgos that are a little bit sloppier. They've lost their center because they have a deep feeling of inadequacy, because whatever the expectation is, they feel like they already can't live up to it, so they don't even try. And they feel that it is sort of a sellout, or it's superficial, or it is a belief system that they don't believe in. And there is a whirlpool of restless anxiety that they're trying to keep at bay. And they almost kind of give up before they even try out for the school play. We can't say that there's only two kinds of Virgos, but the sloppy Virgo is a true thing. And I think you're seeing the antithesis of perfection by not even trying. They don't even want to be vulnerable enough to show up and try and fail at it. So you do have to look at the entirety of the chart, but let me just say, there are so many healthy Virgos that I have met that are incredibly resourceful. I will say Virgos, and wherever you have Virgo in your chart, I love my Virgo. Oh my God, you are resourceful. This is where you're resourceful, because you know how to meld the many talents and the many parts of yourself and their intelligence into a central way of being. And this is where they can become highly functional and even master themselves. So wherever you have Virgo in your chart, you have a chance or an opportunity to master that part of your life. Even if you have Pluto there, like me, I've got Pluto there. Well, I can overcome those Virgo Pluto challenges, and I can step into deep self-mastery. And God, it's rewarding when I do that. But when you meet a healthy Virgo that is so intelligent, so highly functional, they have a serenity and a tranquility and a calm inside of them. That's how you know you're dealing with a healthy Virgo, when they're not neurotic and agitated and filled with anxiety, but they have a resourcefulness to solve any problem they are presented with. Virgo comes with all this creative life force energy from Leo, right? They're here to learn how to make the most out of those creative talents, how to put those talents into something effective or efficient, or something that will serve the greater good, something beyond themselves. And so their mind is in a constant analysis. Before Virgo takes any action, they always observe and check out all the details. They evaluate. They're in constant evaluation of what the problem or what the challenge is in every single possible angle imaginable. And they look for all the traps. They're like Scorpio this way. That's why those two signs get along. They look for all the traps that this challenge or this situation could potentially present. It doesn't even have to be presenting itself. It's what could it present, right? And so there is an unraveling and an unfolding of every single detail, which creates more perspectives and more perspectives and more perspectives. And Virgos can even lose the goal. I forgot what the goal or the objective was of the very thread of their first original idea, because their rabbit hole becomes so big, it becomes a black hole. Virgo, can you relate? And wherever you have this Virgo energy in your chart, this part of your chart is kind of paranoid of pitfalls, and it's paranoid that it won't be successful enough. It is where you feel a humility or even an insecurity. And oftentimes this is the part of you that gets lost in its own mental analysis, unraveling yourself inside of this giant black hole of infinite possibilities that you are not executing, right? Because you can't execute all of them. And so this is also the part of you that has a great ability to discriminate. And when Virgo is in its highest form, if you will, they bring an enormous sense of pragmatic reality to the table. Reality check, right? So wherever you have Virgo in your chart, this is where you will have a reality check. And you're able to see the solutions easily without losing yourself to all the thousands of possibilities. The unhealthy Virgo sadly turns into... Let's talk about Sagittarius. Sagittarius, planets in the ninth house. This is the third sign of the mutable signs, and it's fire, so it's masculine energy. And wherever you have Sagittarius in your chart or planets in the ninth house, this is where you seek adventures in life and opportunities, versatile opportunities. And you want to do everything. You want to try every kind of food, every kind of music, see every country in the world. This is usually a quest for a philosophical, a religious or spiritual, or a new belief system, which answers life's most philosophical question that is usually in search of, what is the meaning of life? Try that on. So if you have Sagittarius in the second house, you're asking, what is the meaning of life in relationship to money and self-confidence? If it's the sixth house, what is the meaning of life around my trade, my craft, my talent? How important is it, right? So what is the meaning of your life? It's a broad question. I mean, we just went into the expansiveness of the mind when we stepped from Virgo to Sag. So Sages are searching for the meaning of life. And how do they do this? By trying on new ways of life, new adventures, new opportunities, new cultures, new food, new music, visiting faraway lands and understanding faraway people. And they are easily adaptable to understanding different cultures, different beliefs, new religions, all of that. They want to at least try it on. They're not necessarily going to believe everything or love everything, but they're going to know who they are not and what the truths are not by what they experience. And so Sagittarius is an experiential sign. So Virgo is a little bit more of that. Gemini is a mental sign. Virgo is doing things, and Sagittarius is putting things into a much larger context of life. Now we're working with communities. We're not on the personal level anymore. And so wherever you have Sagittarius in your chart or whatever planets you have in the ninth house, those planets are going to be great storytellers. It's going to have a desire to, this part of your chart is going to have a storytelling emphasis, a philosophical emphasis, a writing emphasis, a traveling emphasis, or even wanting to be the motivational life speaker or inspiration. They absolutely cannot live without a variety and a freedom to do new things. I'm not joking. Do not put your Sagittarius in a cage. That's the fastest way to lose them. And so they can explore the unlimited realms of the mind. They're not looking to be efficient. They're looking for truth. They're looking for the truth of what is deeply and soulfully truthful about me in this cultural context. Like, why do I live in Seattle? Why was I born an American? Why am I not living in Ireland? This is how a Sagittarius thinks. And so they're here to discover deeply around larger social and cultural complex understandings in life. They are the great archetypical or metaphoric anthropologists. They want to understand, why do we exist now? Why were we not extinct like the dinosaurs? What keeps us alive, right? The truths of life. So wherever you have Sagittarius, you have a vast mind and an inspiring mind. And you use your own self-discovery to help benefit others, where you will see larger issues at hand. And this is where you are also very magnanimous and where you are very generous. This is also the sign of the professor or the teacher. And you will teach through storytelling. You will teach through deep cultural understanding. And the planets that you have in Sagittarius, or the planets that you have in the ninth house, wherever you have Sag in your chart, this is where you will be extraordinarily blunt, straightforward, and bold. So this is the opposite of Virgo. You are not even aiming for perfection. You're aiming for understanding. And you probably realize, if you are a Sagittarius, it is going to be a deeply imperfect journey along the way. And you're not even focused on what is going wrong. You're focused on, but how can I make it right? So Virgo is like, okay, I'm going on this giant quest, and I'm going on this soul's quest, and I'm going to find the meaning of life. And I am prepared for every frickin' thing that's going to go wrong. So Sagittarius, let's hope you have your Virgo friend going with you. And Sagittarius doesn't think about anything that's going to go wrong, because they don't see that way. They think about everything that will go right. Now they get disappointed when things don't go right, but they assume it will, and they work for optimism. They work for inspiration. They work to right wrongs, where Virgo is interesting. Virgo also wants to right wrongs, But the only way they have an advantage of doing that is to understand what could go wrong, so I'm prepared to right that wrong. Sag doesn't need to be prepared to right the wrong, because they are going to fly by the seat of their pants, because they have immutability and adaptability in the moment of time. They are the bronc rider who knows what could go wrong, but they're not going to study all that. They're just going to get out there and they're going to right the wrong in the moment. Virgo is going to know exactly what's going to go wrong, and they are literally prepared with the right rein, the right glove, the right hand motion, put my hand here, how to write, how to move my body, the aerodynamics. And so they're prepared clinically. Sagittarius is more prepared instinctually. This is the sign of the instinct. So if I have a black bear facing me, Virgo has the whistle around its neck, the bear mace. It was prepared when it left. Sagittarius didn't bring a damn freaking thing. They're just going to go out there and they're going to hit a pot and pan or two rocks together and go roar and pray. It's the sign of instincts. So look for Sagittarius in your own chart and to see where you have these like bold instincts. But I also want to tell you, I want to credit my friend Alan Oken, who wrote this great book, how he talked about how Sagittarius functions as the cosmic mouthpiece and is the giver of moral standards. And it is true, because they look for a belief system that explains the truth about life and your life, and then they become it. And so look for Sagittarius in your own chart to start to understand your own moral belief system. Sagittarius want to do things in a very big way, and Sagittarius can feel very dissatisfied when things are not big enough or profound enough or meaningful enough. And oftentimes they even want to go farther than their own mind and their own goals that are inside of them can even show them. They're like, and I want more than that. Let's talk about Pisces, okay? So Pisces is the fourth mutable sign, and it rules the 12th house, and it is yin in its nature, and it is the water sign of this modality, and it is highly, highly capable of adapting itself to changing feelings of others. So Pisces are the great feelers and the great observers of the zodiac. And unlike the other three mutable signs, Pisces is not necessarily a mentally oriented sign. What Pisces is utterly phenomenal at is adapting its feelings and its instincts to the situation at hand. Pisces is the medium, the intuitive, the psychic, the clairvoyant. So where do you have Pisces in your chart? Because this is where you are highly, highly intuitive. So let's talk about the extraordinarily evolved Pisces. They have a deep mystical understanding about life, and they don't even know why they have this understanding. It's almost like they have a download from spirit. And an unhealthy Pisces chart, if you will, chart emphasis, can be misguided into black magic or voodoo or even spells or curses that could hurt people. And so Pisces has a power that it's wary of. And I think it's aware of it too, but it's deep and it's internal and it's kind of like the buried treasure. So when we think about Pisces being the last zodiac sign, it's very important because we have passed through all aspects of the human experience. And now we're not in the human experience as much as we're in the spiritual quest or adventure of life. Understanding when we are standing in Pisces energy, we are in a spiritual energy. We're not in a human earthbound energy. And if you're a Pisces, I want to know, do you understand that? Do you get that? We're now on a spiritual quest and an adventure with all kinds of variables. I mean, imagine if you're going to enter the spirit world, how many variables there are. So this is why Pisces, more than any other sign, can actually empathize and adapt to any problem or situation that they face with more sympathy, empathy, and compassion for all living creatures than any other sign. And this is why when they're truly involved, they embrace unconditional love, which requires adaptation, versatility, like the ability to love all people and all living creatures from all walks of life, from all backgrounds, all religions, no matter how different or alike we are, requires adaptation. Can a Christian love a Jewish person? Yeah, with empathy, compassion, and sympathy. We need Pisces right now. because we need to love people that are different than us. Can you love somebody whose moral belief system in your mind is corrupt? If you don't believe in abortion, but your daughter had to get an abortion, can you still love her? Of course you can. This is Pisces love. Like, I can love you even though I might believe that you're morally bankrupt. I can still love you. Wherever you have Pisces in your chart is how and what you love without condition, or at least it's your ability or capacity to. Not saying you are doing it, but saying you do have the opportunity to. So what is more versatile than that, right? Like, we can have a new change around what we believe in or what we think or what, but this is like literally changing how you love and who you love. It's huge. But when it goes bad, it goes really, really bad. When it goes good, it goes really, really good. Pisces can see the value in all nations, religions, ideologies, philosophy, people, skin color. They go way beyond all of that. And they understand better than any other sign that we are truly all one. So do you have a large Pisces chart signature in your chart? So do you have a lot of planets in the 12th house? Do you have planets in Pisces? Do you have a big Neptune? So while Sagittarius is trying to shape or reshape the belief system to benefit communities, Pisces is in search of the source that goes beyond our world as we know it and into the cosmic collective and what is good for the cosmos. Most people don't even understand the English that I'm saying right now. Like, what the hell is she talking about? Pisces gets it. Tell me, Pisces, if you get it. For real. Like, leave a comment below to encourage somebody to listen to this video at the end, because this is where the good stuff is. I also want to say that Pisces has a versatility and adaptability and exploration is not around the mind as much as it is around feelings. Where Gemini is an exchange of ideas, Pisces wants to understand feelings because they're trying to evolve into a universal, unconditional love, sympathy, empathy, and compassion for others. And this is one thing that I want to say to you. I really believe that we learn through the heart more than the mind. I learned from professors that moved my heart. I didn't learn from data or facts. I learned from facts that touched me, that moved me, that changed me. That's Pisces. Are you the same? I think the heart is how we learn. And by the way, if you want to come learn real astrology with me, I have 5 or 6 tickets left to come work with me for 3 days and be a student in Seattle, Washington with me. And if you're interested, just go to Soul Navigation and click on Astrology Workshop and Retreats. It's my next one. It's in late May 2024. And grab a ticket while there still is one. It's going to sell out. Pisces needs a very big world to explore. They do not want to be limited, and they are ruled by Neptune, and that space is called infinity. So they do not like confinement. However, here is what is so ironic about each sign has something ironic. Like Sagittarius feels like, I'm going to go quest for the truth, and when I find the truth, I want you to live by my truth. Right? I'm going to limit you inside my limitlessness belief system because I worked really hard to study all the options so you didn't have to. Well, Pisces is like, I don't want to be confined and I don't want to be contained. However, ironically, they are drawn to live a life that sometimes is very alone. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got to learn more about the different parts that live inside of you. Don't forget that you live with all 12 signs in your chart. And I just want you to know that I love doing these videos for you. Please like my videos, please subscribe, and please, if you would, become a member Become a super supporter for just $2 a month and support this channel and my work so I can do more of it. And also, if you want to get your chart read with one of us, just go to soulnavigation.com and click on book a reading, and you can have a reading with one of us. We would love to read your chart for you. Take good care. I wish you the very best. I hope you love this. I can't wait to read your comments. And from my home here in Seattle to wherever you live in the world, I wish you the very, very best. Take good care. Bye for now.